Thursday, January 7th, City Council Special Work Session. I need an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Somebody knocked on the door.
Second?
Seconded? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't do in-person meetings anymore. Yeah, we haven't for a couple.
Sorry, we had somebody come to the door.
Yeah. You can go to our website and there's a link right there on our website.
I'm sorry, Sam. Jen is taking care of it.
They're all posted.
It's okay.
We've been doing that for a couple months. Yeah, probably because. Thanks.
What would you like to cover first, Sam?
Okay, well, we got public comment. Cannon Beach Elementary School public comment input from people who have signed up. Do you want to do some sort of introduction, Bruce?
Sure. This is the first of at least 4 meetings that we're going to have to get public input on the Cannon Beach Elementary. I'm calling it rejuvenation until we get a project name for it. But, and we've already started to receive some input. We have gotten emails, and we also have something on the website that allows people to make their comments online. And Kelly, Rusty, and Jen have done an amazing job on how we're going to translate that information. And we'll be talking about that a little bit more. So, but anyway, tonight is the first night for the input. And Sam, I'll just turn it back over to you and start having people that have signed up to speak.
Okay, I've got 4 names that have signed up. At this point, if there is, once we get through those 4, I wouldn't mind asking those people on as attendees, if they want to raise their hand, they might allow that. So we'll see. Let's get through the 4 first. And so I will ask them in the order I have them. If Clara Schroff would like to make her statement.
Hello.
Hello.
Perfect. This is my first time using Zoom, so.
You did great.
Cool. All right. So I don't really have too much of a presentation. I wasn't exactly sure how much is needed, but my goal is just to see if we could get a community dog park started. I feel like it's something our community really needs, as we can hear in the background. They've been silent for the last half hour, but now they've started. Basically, we only have one dog park in the whole county, and it's up in Warrenton, which really isn't accessible for us on a normal basis. But I feel like it's something we really need here. As it stands, people can be on the beach with their dogs off leash, but they can cause hazards to wildlife. They can cause hazards to other dogs. There's a lot of people out there and kids who are sometimes afraid of dogs. And as a dog owner, I've run into that quite often, where some people, whether they're locals or visitors, aren't as responsible with their dogs. And if we had a place where they could go and be off leash and socialize, then that would solve a lot of problems. And it wouldn't be too much of a big project to put in my opinion. As far as what it just needs fencing, access to water, shade, and some community rules and cleanup options like garbage, dog poop, bags, stuff like that, and just some community guidelines for it.
Very good. Thank you, Clara. Anybody have any questions for Clara? Okay.
Clara did send in a letter that summarizes the statements that she just made. So if you get a chance, or maybe you've already seen the various emails.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's pretty complete.
Claire, do you have anything you want to add last minute?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Joyce. Joyce Lincoln.
I don't see Joyce on the list. I guess if she is here, she could use the raise your hand icon to let me know.
I don't see her. Okay, we'll come back to Joyce if she shows up. Jan Siebert. Hi, Jan.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Great. Okay, I have a letter from myself and my husband, Wes, and I just would like to read it. It's pretty brief. So, dear Mayor and City Councilors, we're excited and grateful for the planning of the gathering place at Nacoos to be moving forward. Nacoos, the Clatsop-Nehalem Village site for centuries, and where William Clark and his party from the Corps of Discovery visited in January of 1806, is a most significant place in our community and even our entire region. It deserves to be treated with the utmost respect and care. The Canon Beach Elementary School also holds an honored place in the history of our town. We're hopeful it too will be sensitively considered as this planning process continues. We'd like to see that the Acola Creek estuary at the beautiful northern entrance to our town be preserved and enhanced in ways that protect the long-term environmental integrity of this vital resource. We'd like it to be recognized for the integral part it plays in this site and indeed in our entire community. Through the coming together of Canon Beach residents, Clatsop-Nehalem tribal members, local organizations, etc., we envision a place with historical, cultural, educational, and environmental endeavors which can inspire present and future generations. We offer our help to the best of our abilities in creating a welcoming community gathering center for all who live, work in, and visit Canon Beach. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Jan.
Thanks, Jan.
Yeah. Bruce?
I was just asking, did Joyce come on?
I don't see her on there.
Okay. Ms. Mayor, you had mentioned if you want to go through the list, if there's anybody who wants to raise their hand. But after that, we have a couple things to discuss with council and with the community.
Okay, but next we have Kelly.
Well, I'd like to introduce Kelly and what she's working on, but if,
And we got somebody that looks like they want to speak.
and it looks, who is it, Rusty?
Betsy Ayers.
Okay,
Oh, Betsy Ayers wants to speak. She's listening in and has raised her hand.
let her in.
Okay.
Hi, Betsy.
Hi. For some reason, I don't seem to be seeing myself, but that's okay. I see myself. I've been looking at myself for 74 years. I'm getting kind of tired of it. Anyway, so yeah. Hi, Nancy. I'm just a little late to the party here. I just walked in after the most beautiful evening on the beach. It's just so gorgeous. And I just will keep it really short. I would really like to see the city to commit ourselves to doing everything we can to make this the most comprehensive community center that is possible, as a real showcase for the way that we like to treat ourselves and our visitors. and with a nod to the environment, of course, of this beautiful place where we live. So whatever I can do to help with that, I would be glad to. And that's what I have to say for myself right this minute.
Betsy, what do you mean by comprehensive? Can you give us a couple of examples of things you'd like to see in the center?
Well, I can think of a place for, I'd like to see the possibility of a place for community potlucks. I'd like to see a place for concerts. I'd like to see a place for art classes to take place. I'd like the summer art programs that happen through the not-for-profit Arts Association in Cannon Beach to be able to use a space like that. I'd like to see the building maintained and upgraded to the best of its ability. I know it's kind of a hodgepodge and that there's some issues, of course. I would love I don't know that we need a senior meal site, but you know, those are kind of fun in other communities. Just a really public place for meetings, get-togethers, events, maybe displays of for the Clatsop Nehalem and other First Nation people that all roamed up and down this coast for millennium, to have a permanent place there for them to display some artifacts or maybe be able to make a statement. Just off the top of my head, I didn't make a list, Nancy, so that's what comes into my head at the moment.
That's good. That gives me some ideas. Good.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thanks, Betsy.
Yeah, you bet, Sam.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just have a few words.
Yep, go ahead.
Another one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody else just raised their hand.
Okay. Alice Lane.
She's on mute.
There she goes. No?
I asked her to unmute, but so far she's not done that.
Alice, if you can hear us, you have to unmute.
There we go.
There you go.
There we
Can
go.
you hear me now?
We
Yes.
do.
Okay, I'm Alice Lane and I represent the pickleball group in the North Coast area. And we're starting to get pickleball outdoors. We have it indoors in Camp Rylea. We pay for that, and but it's open to the public. And we have, anyway, we have indoor there. It would be nice to have an outdoor facility in Cannon Beach and an indoor, because we're getting so many players that we need to have space. And people really like being able to get some exercise indoors for just a couple hours or less. It's very beneficial. They play pool. I've had people from 8 years old to 90. And we have a few pushing 80, quite a few that play. And it's you can make it as active as you wish. It would just be a wonderful benefit. I'm really happy to hear that you're considering putting lines on maybe one of the courts, a couple courts there. They have some in Gerhardt if you anybody wanted to look and see how they're operating it. And theirs is totally open and public. We schedule the one at Camp Rylea because I rent this area. We pay for that. And we have it for a couple times a week at Camp Rylea gym, which is about the size I've heard as the elementary gym. It will host 3 courts, 3 pickleball courts. And we have a small amount that people pay to operate for paying the rent. I'm not sure how you intend to set this up. I had heard from a pickleball administrator that in Homer, Alaska, they have a similar program where they have a few people have a key and they can set it up so it's virtually self-maintained and checked out. And anyway, there's a possibility. I'm glad to hear Camp Rylea uses the facility there for several events. They do training, mostly military, firemen, and police, but they also have Boy Scouts use it. They have basketball that we alternate a lot with them. And it's really wonderful to be able to utilize these facilities. So I really commend you guys for, giving the people opportunity to speak. There's a lot of people that drive up from Nehalem, Cannon Beach, and Manzanita to play in Warrenton. It would be wonderful for them if they could play local. Sometimes we have too many people and we can't let everyone play. That's about all I have to say.
Thank you, Alice. Okay, Bruce.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, one of the comments that was made was about the Class of Nehalem folks. And we've been talking to Doug Dorr, and he has done a lot of research on this site and is very excited about some of the things that we're looking at. And then separately, Dick Bash, who is a representative of the Class of Nehalem. And we, in our discussions, decided that rather than trying to have them make a presentation, with maybe 10, 15 others or something, that we actually bring them to a workshop where they will be able to do their presentation and possibly a longer presentation. So they will probably, they could be doing it separately. They could be doing it, somehow combined. But we have set a separate time for them because of the importance of the history of the site. So that's one aspect. Another is that we have the ability, or we've made the availability of for folks to be able to do their comments online. And so we set up pretty much a format for that. And we've asked people that go on that are going to be speaking like tonight, if they can answer as many of those questions as they can. But the question was, how are we going to use this information? And so we put Kelly, Jen, and Rusty together and said, how can you make this so it's actually usable? And I think that we emailed you something called Cannon Beach Elementary Community Input Summary document. And this is strictly a draft just to show you what we plan on doing. But people have the ability to fill all the information out. They will, it then will be put into a spreadsheet. And then more importantly, it will go from the spreadsheet into a graphic form. And I would like Kelly to talk about that.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Rusty. Appreciate that. Okay. Okay. So pretty much what we've put together here is really just essentially, like Bruce said, this is just a quick summary right now of public input that has been received so far, and trying to be organize it in a way that's going to help compartmentalize all the different ideas that have come in a way that's a bit more digestible and an easy way to kind of see it all together. Because there is going to be a range of ideas, and there already is a pretty wide range of ideas, but you can also see a few trends. So that's a bit of our attempt here, is to kind of compile some of these overlapping concepts and group them up in a way that makes sense, while also taking some of the information of what type of materials people need for some of the things that they suggest. So I think it's gonna, what I'm hoping is this will do is to help provide some insight into the general visions that are being put together by the community members who are speaking, and which spaces people are kind of most interested in utilizing and focusing on. So this is a active and ongoing summary. I will continue to update it as we receive more and as we have more of these meetings. Already there's a couple of people on here who that spoke just today that haven't submitted previously. So we will add every comment that comes into the same basically graphic display and spreadsheet together. So right now, this was created and up to date with the information that we had as of this earlier this afternoon. So I broke these down just first by the space utilization. So whether people were talking about the classrooms, the gym, or outdoor space use, and then separated that and grouped that into what we kind of have. So this right now is just a coverage of all the suggestions that came in so far. It's just a quick snapshot. On the left, we have just a pie chart kind of showing you that most of the space that has been talked about utilizing the gym. And then followed by that, there's been a wide range of ideas that have been brought up about the outdoor spacing. And then lastly, a couple people specifically mentioned how they would want to see classrooms be utilized. And then in the blue there at the end is just a couple ideas that was really covered everything all at once as massive overhaul. So the next slide talks specifically about these orange ones here, which were the gym comments. And overwhelmingly so far, we had most people mention that they wanted a community center, or as we heard earlier today, a comprehensive community center. That's kind of the most popular thing, is this idea of a multi-use large event space. And the specific examples that people have presented are things like a stage, a large group rental for different events, fitness activities, seasonal or temporary markets, clubs, community groups, sporting events, a lot of different things that you can see. And then in a similar vein, that was mentioned was using it as a music venue or concert hall, a place that would be able to host concerts. And this was actually largely overlapping with the same group that suggested a community center, because the concept is really just using an open floor space, but with a stage and putting in the work to make it so that the acoustics and sound have the engineering involved to be able to host concerts. Then also recommended a few times was setting up pickleball courts, and indoor recreation. The possibility of having a commercial kitchen was mentioned a couple times. And then lastly, it's we had a specific suggestion about year-long farmers market that could be used. And then after that, we have the outdoor comments. And so this one was pretty similar to the indoor concert idea, where a lot of people are interested in the idea of having some open space that could be mixed use and have an outdoor stage area so that you could have outdoor concert venue as well as the indoor one. And then several people have also mentioned that they like the idea of not only making it mixed use, but adding things like picnic areas and picnic tables, barbecue pit, put possibly like open air covered spaces that are available. We had a few advocates for community garden, and then as Clara mentioned, the idea for a dog park as well. So then the last thing is just the classroom comments, which are pretty much just these two concepts that kind of came out. One is that in line with the same thought of a comprehensive community center, was that there would be classroom spaces that would be able to be utilized by small groups or private classes, or for clubs, group meetings, or public classes for adult and child education as well, lectures and film series or field trips. And then an idea brought up by a couple, myself included in this, was the concept of a nature interpretive center that could be used. And then this last slide I have is just going to be really the other comments that were mentioned but don't really compartmentalize into those, but should be noted. As Bruce had mentioned on, we had several people emphasize the importance of the history and incorporating Indigenous designs, arts, displays, and anything like that in whatever format that the space gets used as. And then you can just kind of see that this is probably going to be the most hodgepodge side, where we don't get suggestions for a specific use for the space, but a couple comments that people wanted to make. So a few mentionings about parking, and if it were going to be parking, and having space still for the food pantry. So that's all I have tonight. This is kind of quickly put together with what we had so far. I hope it kind of helps going forward, that this is going to help organize things a little bit in some way, so that all the information that we start to receive can be distilled and made sense of to get general ideas and hopefully a general vision, especially of what you're looking to do going forward. And hopefully it'll grow, and as more people check in here and watch us and add a few more comments.
Thanks, Kelly. And another thing that we're doing is, well, we mentioned that people can do this online and it'll all kind of fall into the Excel spreadsheet. But what Kelly's going to do is attend all the sessions like tonight. So if somebody just gives a verbal presentation,
Yeah.
doesn't fill out the other, she will go ahead and put the comments in those boxes so that we're capturing all the comments that we can. So thank you for doing that, Kelly.
And Rusty.
Your intention, I think, is to compile, just keep adding to this.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe it would be just meeting by meeting, but if you keep adding to it, that would be better. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a growing iterative process. So it's the same exact display that you saw, but it'll just grow longer.
Okay. My only other concern was with the questionnaire, it's so focused on events only. I was missing some open comment kind of place where you could suggest modifications to the building and specific technical details rather than event-oriented details. So if somebody said move the front door of the gym around to the south side or something like that, just as some interpretive comments about how we could adapt the buildings a little better. It would be nice to have a little bit added to the questionnaire that might help that.
Sam, we'll do that. We were talking about another section at the end, and maybe we can do that, just asking for general comments.
Okay. And
So
I
we can
know a lot
modify
of
that.
this will come after we get some better ideas of how we're going to use it. Then we'll start getting ideas of structurally what to do with it. But
Sure.
still, I think there's going to be some comments lending that input.
Yeah, yeah, we'll just make like an open comment section.
Great. Okay.
Good suggestion.
Will we be able to see the original comments from the form instead of just, I like the idea of being able to categorize them and so forth, but I want to see some of the language and the general letters too that people are turning in.
That was emailed today.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we emailed out a bunch of them today. So we
Yeah.
plan on sending you all the originals.
Okay, good.
And then I believe that Kelly is planning on doing a summary, like what you saw is kind of a summary close to what's happened tonight.
Mhm.
And then what happens next, whatever we receive in the interim, all those will be added. And so the council will see a new version before, and I don't know if it's before and after, but roughly you'll be updated every time we have a session. But because we're taking comments online, we anticipate that there'll be a lot more information between meetings.
And will other people be able to see these comments as well? Will the public be able to see these comments?
I don't know if we want to have all the raw comments that come in, and really this is a council decision. If you want to have all the raw comments, we can do that. I think I would prefer to do the summary because, people, when they're sending these in, they didn't know that they were necessarily going to be shared beyond gathering the information. So I would leave that up to council. If you want all the information to be available on the webpage, we can certainly do that.
I think it'd help clarify and people who felt the same way could understand that they had support in that direction.
Okay. That makes sense. Yes, that's fine. We can do that. We'll definitely have the summaries available, and then we'll probably have another subsection where the original comments that came in.
It's a lot how we did the Dune thing. I mean, we had them, they were on the record, so they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can always refer to certain ones if we need to.
And also, I think because this is, well, the interim step is a spreadsheet. If there's any series of questions that you want, like the people that want to use classrooms, that want to do art or whatever, just a split of all the, what the classroom things are, things that are music related in the gym, we'll be able to do separations on that sort of thing. So there's a lot of, we can, I hate to use the word manipulate because it sounds contrived, but we will be able to go ahead and create reports based on what you want to know from the fields that are in the survey.
Right. Okay, has there been any more hand raising?
Yes, we have Betsy Ayers raised her hand again.
Okay, let's hear from Betsy.
Let's see, where did Betsy go? She was just here. There she is.
Unmute yourself.
Sorry,
Beth.
yeah, I'm trying.
Okay,
Anyway, I sort of wandered off. Well, for some reason, I've been thinking about this and forgot to mention it. I just love that mural that is in the breezeway. It was created through a grant process through the state of Oregon. And Carol Riley, who's a well-known artist, is the person who organized all the children to paint that picture of Canon Beach. And gratefully, it still seems to be intact, and I would love to see it preserved. Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy.
there's another smaller one inside the gym too.
Yeah.
We have another one, Debatia.
Yep, okay. Hi, Deb. Gotta unmute.
There, Deb?
Unmute yourself, Deb.
If anything, people will start learning how to use Zoom.
Hi.
There
I
we
just
are.
wanted to say good job, Kelly. Okay, that and Bruce. That was like super helpful. I love that kind of stuff. Anyway, what I wanted to ask about was at the meeting on Wednesday morning, they were asking about parking, and I just wanted to see what your thoughts are on the parking situation. So, because everybody was wondering about it.
Well, actually, we're in the listening mode right now. We'll hear from everybody first, and then we'll start kibitzing about it.
Okay, because there's a certain amount required, or because of the building and blah 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 blah. So those were questions that came up. And then one other question I had was, do the American Indians own any of the land anymore, or is this totally the cities now?
Totally the cities now.
Okay, so they're stakeholders in decision making.
They're stakeholders because we really want them to be our partners in this, and they have more history there than we do.
Okay, so I didn't really sign up to talk, so I will do that at another meeting. I just kind of want to listen for now. So that's really a lot of it was captured in what Kelly presented, so it's wonderful. So I will talk at another date, since I don't want to take much time without saying I would talk. I've been in Portland all week, so I didn't sign up to talk, so.
That's all right. I figured if there wasn't that many signed up folks that we could open it up, and it's working fine right now. One little comment I will make about the parking is that a lot of that depends on what we hear we want to use the building for. Some uses require more parking than others. So how we get there is a long process, and we'll get there.
I think a lot of the business owners were looking at it taking off some of the parking crunch on the rest of the city, and wasn't my understanding that it would become a big parking structure, which
No.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know, but you're talking about multi-level parking?
No, nobody is.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I just kind of wanted to know. That kind of scared me, actually. And I'm with Kelly with the nature education for like North Coast Rocky Habitat, Haystack Rock, the birds and the wildlife. And Kelly, I want to get together with you at some point, talk about all that. But I really want to, there's so much to be educated about in the wildlife and birds and nature and, you know, all of that. So that's really important to me. Also the concert venue and acoustical is really, really important because so many musicians would love to come down and utilize it and we love to hear them. That's about all I have to say for now. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Anybody else, Rusty?
No, I don't see any other hands.
Last chance.
And where's the next one?
That was it, because,
No, the next one.
oh, the next meeting?
Yeah.
Saturday, the 16th at 9 a.m.
So all the folks that are on the line, if they want to let their friends know that Saturday, the 19th, 16th, Saturday, the 16th at 9 a.m. will be our next session. In the meantime, you can email, you can fill out the form. Sam, we will modify the form for other comments. And so we can continue to take in input. Thank you,
Also,
everybody. Yeah.
go ahead and add that the 20th and the 23rd, right? Are 2 more opportunities.
Yes, the 20th and 23rd.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, at that, last chance for hands to raise. If I don't hear any in the last minute, we're going to go straight to good of the order for the council. I don't have anything.
Sam, I have something. We were talking about setting up a separate meeting for discussion about utility projects and utility rates. And right now, there's nothing on the February 2nd meeting, which is a regular meeting. It'll be our first meeting that starts at 6. And so we may make that a dedicated meeting about projects and rates.
Okay.
Just try to be, that way we'll try to, otherwise we would try to cram it into January and I don't think anybody wants that, so.
Right now.
Okay. And also, just to make an announcement, all council meetings, the council meetings that happen on the first Tuesday and the council meetings that happen on the second Tuesday have both been changed to 6 o'clock starting February 2nd. So next Tuesday, we have a workshop or work session. That'll be at 5:30. From then on, the council meetings, unless it's a special meeting, will be at 6, starting time.
Very good. Thanks, Bruce. Okay, that sounds like that's it. So we will adjourn.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Good start.
That's all.
Pardon, Brandon?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All
Good night.
right. See you Saturday.